Hi there, Sitecore enthusiasts, and welcome to the next episode of Friday Sitecore Best Practices. My name is Vasily Fomichev, and I'm a Sitecore Technology MVP. In this episode, I'd like to switch gears just a bit, move away from looking at the Sitecore content tools, client editing tools, and take a look at perhaps the three most commonly used tools in troubleshooting Sitecore issues. Now, these tools are not shipped with Sitecore. The Sitecore comes with plenty of administrative tools under Sitecore admin folder. These tools are either provided by a third party or developed by Sitecore or as a shared source module and provided through a Sitecore marketplace. Now, the reason why I decided to do this video is I keep hearing from developers that they aren't aware of one of these three tools or the other. So here we go. The three tools we'll take a look at are Support Package Generator, Sitecore Log Analyzer, and look for Lucene. So let's start with the Sitecore Support Package Generator. So what this tool allows us to do is generate support packages that should be included with each support ticket for Sitecore. Now, if you've ever created a support issue and if the issue is not simple and requires troubleshooting on the Sitecore side, they will ask you for additional information about your Sitecore instance. They might ask you for some config files, settings, libraries, configuration, or other information about Sitecore. So to save time and to allow Sitecore to quickly reproduce your solution on their end, you can use the Sitecore Package Generator to generate a package which automatically packages up config files, log files, and any other setting. There's a variety of things that you can package up, all the way to the libraries and temporary files and IIS log settings, things like that. And it creates a zip file that you can then attach either to the Sitecore support ticket or upload it to the Sitecore FTP and reference it from the support ticket. That way, it helps Sitecore, again, to easily reproduce or set up an environment that's either identical or similar to what you have to try to reproduce the issue. And it also helps you to save time by not having Sitecore come back to you and ask for that information, so you can get your answer quicker. So let's take a look at the tool and let's see what it looks like. So the tool can be downloaded through the Sitecore marketplace from marketplace.sitecore.net. When you download it, it's a simple executable, not intrusive. It doesn't require any installation. Simply double click on it, and first screen that comes up will list websites that are Sitecore websites or site instances, actually, not necessarily Sitecore. As you can see, the default website is present here. So website instances exposed through the IIS. Select the Sitecore instance you'd like to create the package for. On the next screen, you can change the package name if you'd like. I usually leave it as is. If you had already created the support ticket, you can add the support ticket ID here. Now, you can also specify the date range for a particular issue. So if the issue occurred a long time ago, make sure that the logs include this date range includes logs from that period, and then any additional comments if you'd like, but that is optional. So here on the next screen, you can choose what to include in the Sitecore support package. As you can see, there's quite a bit of information, and a lot of it is unchecked. And what I usually do is accept the default settings, and unless I'm sure that Sitecore will need any additional information, or if Sitecore requests, I just simply click Next and take all the default settings for the package. Now, what it's doing right now is going through and packaging, including everything that was selected in the previous screen. And if everything checks out, it marks it green. Now, this screen is very important, especially if you're dealing with sensitive information. If sensitive information was included in the package. Now, what kind of information I'm talking about? Well, that could be sensitive configuration information, passwords, usernames, URLs, anything that shouldn't be exposed to Sitecore support, right? So that's not to undermine Sitecore Trust, but there are many Sitecore instances that have to comply with certain security requirements, and in cases like that, exposing Sitecore login information or sensitive information may not be an option for those clients. So in cases like that, what I suggest doing is looking through the list of files. Now this is a list of files that was included in the package. Looking through the list of files, identifying files that may include sensitive information, and editing it right on the spot. You can open it, you can click that little pencil icon next to the config file you'd like to edit, make the edit, save it, close it, and you should be good to go. Now you can also click the red remove file icon, which will remove the file from the package altogether. Now once you've gone through the cleaning process, go ahead and hit next. Now that finalizes the package, and now you can either upload the package directly to the Sitecore FTP by clicking the link. Now remember, it's preferred to attach it to the support ticket. However, if it's very large, then you'd have to upload it to the FTP. And you can simply open it in folder and drag it into the support issue, upload, drag and drop section over on the right in the support portal, and that should attach it to your ticket. So there you go, that's the Sitecore Support Package Generator. Make sure to use it on all of your tickets unless it's very obvious or the solution is already inside the ticket. Let's go ahead and exit. Now the next tool I'd like to take a look at is very useful. I use it every time I troubleshoot Sitecore issues, is Sitecore Log Analyzer. Now that's another one that's provided through the Sitecore Marketplace. You can either Google it or search for it on the marketplace itself. Search for Sitecore Log Analyzer. And although it says it supports up to CMS 7.2, you can still use it on CMS 8 and up. We're at 8.1 update 2 currently, and it still works like a charm for the log messages in the system log files. So what that tool does is it allows us to easily traverse log messages. So when you download it, it's a simple zip archive, and when you extract it, this is these are the contents that you'll see. Again, just like the package generator, this tool does not require an installation. Simply double click on the executable and it'll launch the interface here. So let's go ahead and select, looks like I already have a path selected here. I've already used it. So what you want to do is first click on select location and point it to the logs folder, or simply select the individual individual log files you'd like to take a look at. Click open and then click analyze, refresh button. So what that does is it goes through all of the files, analyzes, groups them, aggregates them, and puts them into the very easily readable and reportable format. So as you can see here, if there are any errors, it'll identify them under the messages, and you can filter by errors, warnings, or simply info messages. It'll group them by error message, by the wording in the error message. Or what it translates to is really by the error type. As you can see, we can show all of our socket exceptions here. We can take a look at our SQL exceptions. Now another really cool thing is you can right click the message and click find in raw view, and it'll take you directly to that error message. This is very helpful if you're troubleshooting an error to see if there were any other events that perhaps happened prior to the error that could have been the original cause of the issue. So let's go back here and we can look at the warnings. We can filter by just simple info messages. As you can see, same type of filtering applies here. On the audit tab, you'll see the activity logged by Sitecore, system activity audited by Sitecore, log out, log in, and other activity. Health monitor performance stats activity is logged on the health monitor tab. Again, raw view is very self-explanatory. It simply is an aggregation of all of the log files. And then internal program log is just simply the log of the tool. Now, the way I like to use it is I like to select the entire folder and then narrow it down to the date range that I'm troubleshooting. By default, the date range is disabled. So to enable it, uncheck disable date filter checkbox, and then specify the date range. So let's say we'd like to take a look at the past 5 days. So I clicked on May 1st, and let's see here, and that automatically filters our selection here. All right. So you can also, what you can also do is search for a specific error message. This is another very useful feature of the tool. You can see we have, let's see, Path Analyzer, SQL storage right there. Info messages. Great. So as you can see, this tool is very helpful in troubleshooting Sitecore issues. It allows us to easily look at Sitecore logs and find the information that we're looking for. Okie dokie, and then moving right along, and the last tool is called Look for Lucene. So Look for Lucene is a third-party tool. It's a Java-based tool, so make sure you have the Java runtime environment installed prior to using it. And if you Google for that tool, if you go downloading that tool, you'll get several sources. So first, you may run into the Google Code Archive, which, as you can see, only goes up to 2012, July 17. Then there are other references, including a Git repository by Dmitry Key, and as you can see, he's quite quite up to date, ahead of time. Looks like the last release was just 23 days ago, Luke 6.0. Now, your knee-jerk reaction would be to download the latest version. However, look for Lucene. The latest versions of Look for Lucene do not work with older Lucene indexes, which is what Sitecore is using. So what I would recommend doing is, instead of actually downloading this latest and greatest version, go back to the Google Archive and grab this 3.0 version. Otherwise, you might get an error message when you try to open an index, something along the lines of index too old, or something similar to that. So when you open Look for Lucene, let's go ahead and, so when you download it, what you'll get is a jar file. What you want to do is simply double click on it, and that will launch the interface. Now my resolution is high through the roof, so let me try to increase the font here to 25. Let's see if that looks any better. Okay, that'll work. Okay. And let's go ahead and go to File, Open Lucene Index. Now this is the screen that comes by default that I just closed. So first thing you want to do is select the index. Let's take a look at Sitecore Web Index, for instance. It's an index for one of the, actually the initial release of Sitecore 8. Let's hit OK. And as you can see, here are all of the properties on the index documents. So you can see the database, group. So this is sort of the schema in database terms of the index, right? To look for actual documents, we want to come to the documents section, or you can either click through the documents, or you can browse by specifying browsing criteria, or what I like to do is actually use search. So if you're troubleshooting Sitecore issues, there's most likely scenarios you have a Sitecore or Lucene query that gets executed, a search query using the content search API, and which translates into Lucene query that gets executed on the index. One of the most common issues is the query looks correct, but yet you're not getting the right data. And you checked everything in code, everything looks right, permissions look right, so you're suspecting that that data isn't being indexed. And Look for Lucene is a great tool to use in cases like that. So what I like to do is grab the actual Lucene query from the search log file. So if we take a look at, let's see here, logs, test, data, logs, sort them by date. Now you notice later versions of Sitecore include now search logs. which include raw queries that are executed in Sitecore. So what I like to do is grab one of these queries, or a query that's causing the problem, and paste it into the search interface. And hit search. There we go, nothing found. Let's see if we have actually, that didn't look like a meaningful query. Let's see, where did it go? Right here. Let's see if there's anything. So these are system warm-up queries. Let's go ahead and create a custom one. Name, how about name home, right? We know Sitecore has that by default. It's the Sitecore default item. I may need a refresher. Wait a minute, did that get erased? Let's see, okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at the schema here. Underscore name, okay. Oops. Underscore name and home. Thought this was a clean instance. Well, Sitecore, right? Or Sitecore. There we go. Now, we know we have at least a Sitecore item, right? So there you go. So you can search for queries, so you can paste the query from the search log file and see what comes back. So if nothing comes back, that means there's an issue. Most likely there's an issue with indexing. You know, and if you do get the right document back, maybe there's likely a different source of issue, permissions, security. Maybe it's a issue related to code. So there you go. Now look for Lucene. It has another very useful feature, is exporting the index in XML. Here it is. You can export the index in XML. So if you need to share the index or provide it for provide index to, let's say, perhaps Sitecore for troubleshooting purposes, you can export as the index, so as an XML, so they can take a look at the data stored inside the index. All right, so these were the three tools. Again, we looked at the Sitecore Package Generator, we looked at the Sitecore Log Analyzer, and we looked at Look for Lucene. So have these bookmarked, use them, and they will save you a lot of time on troubleshooting Sitecore issues. So if you liked the video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Put comments below with more topics you'd like to see videos on, and like the video. For more tips like this, check out cmsbestpractices.com, and I will see you next Friday. Over and out.